Welcome to Wellbeing Wednesdays with Harvinder Narula on BW Wellbeing World. It is an enlightening conversation that I am welcoming you to with Dimple Jangda, a distinguished Ayurvedic and gut health coach and author. With a profound understanding of Ayurveda's ancient wisdom and a passion for promoting digestive well-being, Dimple guides individuals on a transformative journey towards optimal health. On an accomplished, as an accomplished author, her insights into the intricate connection between Ayurveda and gut health have empowered many to embrace holistic practices for a balanced and vibrant life. Join us as we delve into expertise, uh, exploring, exploring practical tips, and creating approaches and the seamless integration of Ayurveda principles into modern living. Welcome, Dr. Dimple, to BW Wellbeing World. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today. Uh, before
Thank
I
you for
go,
having me.
it's a pleasure. And before I get into my series of questions that I have for you related to Ayurveda and modern medicine, first is how did you become interested in Ayurveda and its connection with gut health?
I'm glad that's the first question, because Ayurveda is the foundation of everything that I do right now. Um, so I was born with multiple health issues, which I've talked about in the book. I had epilepsies as a child, and the doctors had no answer to why I was getting these epilepsy attacks. I would have a seizure, I would just drop, collapse on the floor, and my parents were quite helpless. This went on till I was 11. My sister had it, I had it. And then I had migraines up to the age of 20. When the epilepsy had gone, it was replaced with migraines. And I had a cancer scare when I was 16. I had 4 surgeries even before I turned 18 years old, 2 for fibrocystic benign tumors. I had radiation, I had mammograms, needle biopsies, surgeries, 2 more for deviated septum and tonsillitis. So 4 surgeries before I turned 18. And it was always running to the hospital for getting drugs, steroids, antibiotics, and surgeries. And I was called back for a 5th surgery, which I flatly refused. Fast forward another 15 years. I had had a wonderful career in television as a TV reporter, as a TV producer, then as an investment banker. And at the peak of my career in investment banking, when I had everything, like I had like a bank full of money, I had like world travel, business class life, and rubbing shoulders with some of the most powerful people on Wall Street. And I was globetrotting and I just felt incomplete. That's when I quit, came back to India and started spending time in the countryside. And I started healing as a person. And I was curious as to what was happening, how my chronic insomnia got healed, how my fibroids were dissolving, why I was eating better. I had terrible appetite as a child. Suddenly everything was shifting. So when I started researching, I found sciences like Ayurveda, naturopathy, yoga. So I built a project around these sciences. I wanted to build a retreat. And then, my uncle said, put your money where your mouth is. Why don't you start a clinic first and see how it goes? So I started a clinic, hired doctors, therapists. We started treating patients. And I noticed a gap between the doctors and patients, which is when I started studying Ayurveda and doing research on this subject. So that's how Ayurveda accidentally happened to me. If people ask, I say Ayurveda chose me.
Dr. Dimple, a lot of us may not understand the principles of Ayurveda. We know it as an ancient science related to health, but can you explain the basic principles of Ayurveda for someone who's new to the concept of using it in their own life?
So, Ayurveda actually goes to the root cause. It goes to the very basics. And Ayurveda, the word itself means Ayu plus Veda. Ayu means life and Veda means science or knowledge. So it is basically the knowledge of life or the science of life. Like, when you buy a car or an electronic or any kind of a gadget, you get a manual. The manual tells you how to use that particular product, right? So Ayurveda is a manual that Mother Nature has created in partnership with humanity to teach us how to preserve our body. So that's how Dhanvantri came to earth and taught human beings how to preserve their body and reverse diseases with the gift of Ayurveda, with the gift of this science. Ayurveda is something that works at a cellular level. It defines your body in terms of energetics. It understands that there are only 5 elements in this entire universe: earth, water, fire, air, and space. Based on these 5 elements, the building blocks in our body are made, which is called kapha, pitta, and vata. And modern science calls it as endomorph, ectomorph, and mesomorph, the body types. But Ayurveda understands the building blocks. It understands the gross body. It understands understands the transformative fire that is responsible for all the transformations happening in the body. And it understands the role of air and space that is responsible for movement in our body, movement of thoughts, blood circulation, food getting digested, and such. So there are three qualities that keeps us alive. One is the gross body. The second is the transformative fire inside us that keeps us alive. And third is the air that also keeps us alive and is responsible for our movement. Now, the permutation and combination of these elements and these building blocks determines what body type you're going to be. And it also determines what diseases you have an inclination towards. So your body type or the model of this car, this vehicle has already been determined and fixed at the time of being conceived based on the health of the sperm, health of the egg, health of the uterus, and the kind of diet the mother followed during pregnancy. And your body type doesn't change an entire lifetime. Just like how you have a blood type. You're an O positive or a B positive. You're born with a specific blood type and you don't change an entire lifetime. It's next to impossible. So you go to an doctor, you go to a hospital to get a blood test done to figure out what blood type you are. So that is a life-saving information that you've stored in your brain. Finding out what your Ayurvedic body type is similar to that. Once you know what your body type is, you can design your diet and lifestyle and personalize it based on your unique body type, which is your unique biological blueprint, based on your age, your constitution, which phase of life you're in, what is your topographic and geographic condition of the city you're living in, what are the genetic factors and the family history that you were born with. This allows you to fulfill your desire for a long, healthy, and a happy life. That's what Ayurveda does. Ayurveda puts the power back in your hands, and it has several herbs, almost 10,000 plus herbs. And the science says that for every disease, there is a herb that is a cure. Your job is just to go out there and find it. And that's where Ayurvedic doctors and naturopaths play a very powerful role.
And Dr. Dimple, when it comes to your coaching experience, what challenges do people commonly face when they're trying to adopt Ayurvedic principles for gut health? Because that's where your focus is. And how do you help them overcome these obstacles to adopt Ayurveda?
Unfortunately, we are born in a generation of 2-minute Maggi noodles. Like we want everything in 2 minutes, instant gratification. Okay, you want love, swipe right, swipe left. You want to get rid of pain, pop a painkiller. You want to satiate your hunger, eat something that takes barely 2 minutes to cook, but then forget about those long-term side effects. Who cares? Right? Unfortunately, we're in a generation of instant gratification. And the biggest problem we face with clients, I would say, is because they're coming from having had allopathy drugs, steroids, and antibiotics for so long, they look for instant results. They want to pop something in their mouth and they want to forget the problem within 3 hours. They don't want to be responsible for their body. That's where a lot of counseling helps. We counsel the patient and we say that if you continue abusing your body and keep suppressing your symptoms, what do you think is going to happen when you turn 40, 50, 60, 70? The problem we face is we all have managed to build a long lifespan thanks to modern technology and science. You can live up to 70, 80, 90, and even 100, right? But your health span has come down to 20, 25, 30. So you spend most of your life suffering from the diseases and popping pills, and every pill comes with 3 side effects. And for every 3 side effects, there are 3 more pills, which will give you 9 side effects. So you're constantly caught in a cyclical reaction, like a hamster in a Ferry wheel. Is that what you want to be? Like a hamster in a Ferry wheel, caught in the clutches of your own diseases and the side effects of the medicines you're having? Or do you want to become free of that and be in charge of your body and live healthily? The minute the client makes a decision that I want to be healthy, I want to be strong, I want to be happy, I want to be there for my friends and family and relatives in a more productive, healthy, holistic manner, that's when the real treatment begins. So the first obstacle is always the psychosomatic. Once the psychosis of the client has been handled, then everything that you say has to make sense. You have to make a logical connection between the advice you're giving by linking Ayurvedic text with modern research-based science. So that's why we stress a lot on research reports from Harvard, Stanford, Atlanta, Georgia, Maryland universities, which spoke highly about the importance of colon health and gut health. We use these research reports, we condense them, make it concise, present it to the client, and tell them why they need to focus on their gut health and the colon health. And then they start opening up. So the first challenge is psychosomatic, and the second challenge is appealing to the logical and rational mind. Once you've done that, It's very easy to pop that bitter pill, which is Ayurvedic herbs, and get rid of your diseases from the root, not just do a surface treatment.
Awesome. And what role does gut health play in the overall well-being according to the Ayurvedic principles?
Well, that's my study of, area of research, I would say. This is also the area of research for my PhD thesis. So this is called Heal Your Gut, Mind and Emotions. It's my debutante book, and my PhD thesis is based on the same subject, where we use Ayurvedic science and food chemistry to reset our health back to good health. And these are 5 steps, where we talk about how to reset your gut health back. In gut health, I speak about the impact that the gut has on your mental, emotional, energetic, and spiritual health. Now, the gut is the fuel engine of your body. This is where the nutrients come from for all your organs, be it your brain, heart, liver, kidney, intestine, gallbladder. All of these organs depend on your gut for the fuel. If the gut starts malfunctioning, starts leaking, then all other organs will also start feeling the impact and start suffering, right? So that's number 1. At a physical level, you need to take care of your gut health. Number 2, an unhealthy colon and a leaky gut syndrome are responsible for 90% of the diseases we suffer in our body today. Again, a reason for you to focus on your gut health. Number 3, emotions are experienced in the gut when you feel anxious, scared, excited, happy, nervous, butterflies fluttering in the stomach. You feel it in the gut. Memories are also stored in the gut. Intuition comes from the gut. Okay, this is proven by modern science. Now, the gut flora, which is almost like 1 trillion plus bacteria, 85% good and 15% bad bacteria, all of these influence and directly impact your mental health, again, proven by Harvard and many such institutes. Your gut impacts your mental health. Your GI tract is extremely sensitive to emotions. If you're having emotional turmoil or anxiety, or if you're overthinking, it leads to indigestion and a series of other gastrointestinal disorders. So your gut impacts your physical health, mental health, emotional health, and of course, your energetic health, because your energy starts fluctuating. This is why we put the core of health at the gut, because that helps us tackle 90% of the problems. 10% is external stimuli. It could be malaria, dengue, typhoid, accidents, fractures, which is most of the times beyond our control, sometimes can be controlled. So when you become in charge of 90% of your body, you become the author of your own health or disease. That's what the book tries to do.
Awesome. Dr. Dimple, we are living in an age of digital content, and a lot of us go on to Google to search for, conditions and the problems that they may be facing because of the conditions or the symptoms that they are experiencing. In your experience, what are some of the misconceptions people have about Ayurveda and gut health when they come to you? Because, there's all kind of information there. There's good information. There's also some information which is going more bad than good.
Yeah. See, I'll tell you what. Google is not a doctor. Okay. And I'm not a medical doctor either. I'm a research-based doctor. Google is not a doctor. So stop Googling your symptoms, trying to figure out answers to, your problem by popping in medicines and herbs. Ayurvedic herbs have also started getting abused left, right, center by people people are popping in ashwagandha and shatavari and guruchi and giloy without understanding the impact of the herb on the body. Now, remember, these herbs are extremely potent. Okay. So they are supposed to be used only when you have a specific symptom, which an Ayurvedic doctor will guide you with. There are 7 unique body types. There is a kapha, pitta, vata. There are dual body types. There are tridoshic body type. Some herbs are specific to a specific body type. Not everybody can have the same herb. It's not one size fits all. Ayurveda is a very personalized science. So if you think you can just walk in and take the same medicine that your brother or your sister or your parents are taking and get the same results, you're highly mistaken. That's problem number 1. So Google cannot personalize that herb or that science for you. Of course, there are a lot of educational websites that have started coming out. People allow you to find out what your body type is. But again, that's basic information. It's good to meet a doctor, an Ayurvedic doctor, when you have chronic symptoms or acute symptoms that has been in your body for more than 14 days. But at the same time, you can study Ayurveda. We have some Ayurveda masterclasses even in our academy, which is between 4.5 hours to 60 hours. These kinds of masterclasses, which is available now in many institutes, I would say, allows you to learn what your unique body type is, how to identify the symptoms in advance, and what are the kitchen remedies you can follow to reverse those symptoms. Now, in the kitchen itself, you have a lot of potent spices, herbs, grains and pulses, fruits and vegetables. Your kitchen should be your first pharmacy. Your kitchen should be the first place you go to heal your body. By eating the right combination of fruits and vegetables, grains and pulses, and the right combination of spices and herbs that are available in the kitchen, you can reverse most of your lifestyle symptoms at home. That's something that you should be in charge of. Do not try to consume Ayurvedic herbs, especially the potent ones, without a consultation. That's something that I would really stress on. And of course, we speak about Viruddhahar, which is one of my favorite subjects in the book as well. Eating the right combination of food will keep your gut healthy. Eating the wrong combination of foods will not only trigger gut health issues like bloating, gases, flatulence, indigestion, acidity, constipation, diarrhea, but it can also trigger serious chronic skin diseases, allergies, and even neurological disorders in the long run. So learn how to eat the right food and the right combination at the right time.
Dr. Dimple, what lifestyle factors beyond diet do you emphasize for maintaining the healthy gut according to Ayurveda? Does it go beyond the Ayurveda medicines?
Absolutely. So the beauty of Ayurveda is it's first a preventive healthcare life science and then a curative healthcare life science. It does help cure diseases, but most importantly, it teaches you how to prevent diseases. So Ayurveda speaks about the Ayurvedic energy clock. It's called the circadian rhythm in modern science. It tells you how to tap into the day's solar energy and the night's moon energy to maximize your productivity and health. The day is divided into 6 parts. Say, for example, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is called the Brahma Muhurat. This is the time for you to wake up, meditate, chant, express gratitude, manifest the life you want, do some mild movements to aid the downward movement of waste. 5 to 7 is a time for you to eliminate all waste from your body. And 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is a time for nourishment, exercising, having a small breakfast. So Ayurveda has a circadian rhythm and it tells you exactly when to do what. Your long-term decisions are made between 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Your short-term strategic business decisions are made between 2 to 6 p.m. That's a Vata clock when the mental faculties are sharp again. It speaks about how your mental faculties, your digestive fire, your metabolic fire, and even your appetite and bowel movements ebb and flow based on the position of the sun and the moon. You tap into this energy clock and maximize your productivity and your health as well as immunity and metabolism. Number 2, we speak about food pyramid, understanding which group of foods to eat more of and to eat less of. Then there is a science of cooking, which food should be cooked. For example, spinach should be blanched rather than juiced to prevent kidney stones. And the combinations of foods to eat. For example, spinach is paired with cottage cheese to prevent oxalates being formed in the body, which can lead to kidney stones. Or something as simple as stew your fruits to prevent constipation if you already have a constipation kind of a symptom, right? So Ayurveda gives you a lot of these preventive healthcare tools that you can start implementing starting day 1. This is ground zero. These are the rituals you follow on a daily basis. And then you have the detoxifying rituals, which is like, Panchakarma treatments, some of which can be done at home. You can go to an Ayurvedic clinic once a year and get a complete detoxification and cleanse. Then there is Ritucharya, seasonal rituals, the rituals to be followed during each season, what kind of foods to eat and what kind of foods to completely avoid. And what are the remedies you can follow to prevent cold, cough, sinus, allergies whenever the seasons are changing. So that is something that we must all invest time in.
Awesome. I think for me, it seems like Ayurveda is more of a lifestyle than just a medicine.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Dimple, as an author, what motivated you to write about Ayurveda and gut health? And what are some of the key messages that you aim to convey through your book?
So, when I started the clinic, it started as a CSR activity, a corporate social responsibility. Having made the money that I wanted in investment banking, I wanted to put in the money in the clinic to serve the society. So in the first year, I remember putting in all my money to build the clinic and all my money to keep the clinic running for the next 5 years. First 2 years, at least, I think we gave consultations for free to every single person who walked in. first year and a half at least. And then COVID hit, and then we started teaching online. The intention was to put the power back in the hands of the people, but I noticed there was a huge gap between what my doctors were saying and what the patients were understanding, listening, and following. There was a communication gap. There was a language gap because Ayurveda was taught in regional languages before, and now our primary language has become English, which was never part of Indian culture and history, right? Uh, Even I find myself more comfortable speaking in this language than in my native languages. There was a time gap, because Ayurveda was followed for 5,000 years, but 400 years ago, during the British era, the colonial rule, Ayurvedic sciences were shut down. Funding was made available only to sciences taught in English, which was the Western medicine. There was a research gap. There was no funding given to Ayurveda for the last 400, 500 years. Now, post-independence era, we have started coming back. Ayurvedic schools and colleges have opened up again. And people have started taking it up seriously again, because many of the Western sciences failed for them. So it became my research subject. I started studying every single day and collecting all of this research. I started teaching since 2020, and we've taught about 7,400 plus students from 64 countries. And then I started putting together my PhD research thesis, and I was like, this information has to be broken down into simple parts for people to start practicing today. It shouldn't be knowledge reserved for the Ayurvedic doctors who understand the science. It shouldn't be knowledge reserved for the researchers who put in a lot of hours. It should be something that should be taught in schools, in colleges. It should be taught in corporates, HR people, the human resource team should take it as a primary responsibility to take care of the health of their employees so that they are more productive because they contribute to the bottom line when they're in a state of health. That's when I started conducting almost 300 plus educational workshops during COVID across the country, and we had 85,000 participants. And the questions allowed me to better write this book. And then I started breaking it down into smaller reels, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and posting it on social media. And we had almost like 1 to 8 million views for most of the videos because this was such basic information that people were like having an aha moment with. My grandmother said this. My mother said this. I never listened. Something as simple as, stop having smoothies and stop having green juices. Instead have, soups, warm, well-cooked soups, that have been tempered with fire and spices. Learn how to drink water. Don't gulp it. Don't drink out of plastic bottle because it's leading to microplastics in your blood as well. These tidbits of information then came together to become the book, which is Heal Your Gut, Mind, and Emotions. And this has 5 steps: the circadian rhythm, the energy clock, understanding your unique biological blueprint. It has a complete diet plan for your unique body type. There is food pyramid, digestion period of foods, lifestyle changing habits, and most importantly, food chemistry. That's my favorite subject.
Great. I think it's always easier for people to adopt something that they don't understand if it is communicated in a manner that is relatable to them and their life. So contextualizing information is extremely important, and that's what you're trying to do. That's an amazing thing. Dr. Dimple, for someone who's interested in incorporating Ayurvedic principles for gut health in their own life, where do they begin?
Well, I've broken it down into 2 parts. One is the book itself. Number 2, if you don't like reading books, we have a 3-day gut reset workshop available on our website. We've been running this since the last 3 years, every single weekend, mornings and evenings. It's a 3-day workshop that teaches you how to reset your gut back to good health. You can listen to it. If you can't do that, you can also listen to my podcast. You can listen to the small reels that I post every single day. So the trick should be, you must learn at least 1 new health information per day, every single day for 365 days. At the end of the year, your subconscious mind would have registered all of the information and your conscious mind would probably remember 100 out of those. But at least when you're eating and drinking, your conscious and subconscious mind starts playing and gives you information intuitively on what to eat, what to avoid, what to touch, what not to touch. That is a simple trick that you can do. I'm not asking you to go on this massive gut reset challenge for next 21 days to 90 days, but at least start with this one resolution that every day you will learn something healthy and you will start implementing it. It's impossible to have that information in your brain and not use it. For example, as simple as don't mix fruits with dairy. It's toxic and poisonous. Milkshakes are poisonous. Once you know that information, are you going to continue reaching out to a glass of milkshake or order a milkshake at one of those, FMCG or fast food companies, will you continue doing that? Very well knowing it's going to be poisonous and toxic and it's going to trigger skin diseases. No. So start with that. Start reading, listening, watching healthy something every day instead of just consuming dead content that doesn't add value to your life.
And Dr. Dimple, how do you integrate traditional Ayurvedic wisdom and modern scientific understanding when you are advising your clients on gut health? How do you explain to them that there's a science behind what I'm telling you?
Okay. So say somebody comes to me with a symptom, like yesterday I had someone who was literally collapsing in the clinic, and he was having a adverse effect, to all that alcohol consumed during Diwali. And all I had to do was sit him down and tell him that alcohol, be it one drop or one glass, is a form of poison. When you put poison into your body, what is it going to do? This particular poison dries up your colon, dries up your gastrointestinal tract, your gut from inside, and it can trigger leaky gut syndrome. Now, not just alcohol, even the undigested food are getting leaked into your bloodstream, and your blood has become toxic, and it's now circulating to your heart, liver, kidney, intestine, gallbladder. So now you have toxic blood being circulated all over simply because you triggered a leaky gut syndrome from the repeated consumption of this particular food group, alcohol. And what that has done is it has impacted your psychosomatic health, coordination, concentration, mood swings, irritability, anxiety, stress, depression, bronchial health. Then there is neurological health, gastrointestinal health, there is skin health, musculoskeletal health, and your overall energetic health. When we gave them the research from Harvard that 90% of the diseases are triggered due to an unhealthy colon and a leaky gut syndrome, and all the diseases connected to it, it makes them open up and want to be able to receive the information. Now that we know what the problem is, which has been identified by modern research, here is a solution that has been given by Ayurveda, tested by time over the last 5,000 years, and has shown remarkable results, which is a series of Panchakarma treatments to pull the poison out of your body, a series of Basti treatment to treat the colon and the gut by introducing medicines and herbs to repair the lining, and then a series of oral medication to lubricate the tract from inside. The minute you give them evidence to the problem, they're willing to listen to the solution. And the solution just needs to be time-tested, proven, and something that people or our ancestors have followed and seen results from. And that's the aha moment. That's when they wake up and say, okay, I'm game for this. Let's do this. And we tell them, do it for 1 day, do it for 3 days, do it for 5 days. See if you find any difference in your health, if you find any discomfort or comfort from the symptoms. The minute you start experiencing the comfort or the relief from all of those symptoms, you yourself will want to commit to the program. And then it becomes a lifestyle choice. A lot of people have not gone back to their vices ever since they signed up for our detox program or our diet plan also, for a 90-day period. They stick to being healthy. They love the new feeling of being healthy. That's how it should be.
Right. And your experience, when most people come to you, do they come to you because of a lifestyle change, or is it for a specific problem? And how many of these clients come to you for will I lose weight? Will I start looking good? Skin glow? What is the trigger for them to start looking at it? Is it really health or is it looking good?
Vanity will always be part of our life, right? Unfortunately or fortunately, the whole world is very visual. We judge, label, put people in buckets based on their appearance, right? So if I'm dressed in work clothes or say a dungaree, you'll assume that I'm doing a lot of physical labor. If I'm dressed in a sophisticated dress, you'll assume I'm doing business. If I'm dressed in a glamorous sequin dress, you'll assume that I'm a socialite and a party goer, right? We're a very, very visual world. Now, visual appearance is important because it helps you function in the society in different ways. I'm not saying it's all. Body confidence is also very important. Being confident in the kind of body that you have, irrespective of the color, or the caste and creed that you were born in, even that is important. Now, the skin is a visual representation of what's happening inside the body. This is what traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic science has understood, and modern science has validated it. Your skin is a visual representation of your organ health. So we look at the skin, we look at the eyes, we look at the tongue to understand what's happening inside the body. A lot of people will come with the intention of getting good skin, good hair, losing a couple of kilos before the wedding, before the festivities begin, before New Year's, before going on a holiday. We will always have those kind of people. Ayurveda says the first rule for reversing diseases is thinning of the body. You must not have extra fat or water retention or bloating or unutilized fats in your body. You must not have any of that. You must have a thin BMI, which is appropriate for your health, right? So that's the first rule, thinning of the body. Most people come when many other sciences have failed for them, when Western medicine or modern science has failed for them. They come to us as a last ray of hope saying, can you please fix it? I've been suffering from GERD for the last 10 years, or I've been suffering from the skin allergy for the last 10 years. I cannot live with this condition anymore. Do you have a solution? A lot of those people come with that excuse as well. And we sit them both equally with the same equal attention. And we tell them that whether it is for weight loss or vanity, or whether it is to reverse a disease, or whether it is to preserve health because you've understood the magic of Ayurveda, we will start from the scratch and build a foundation. Your diet and lifestyle will be addressed. Your medicines will be addressed and personalized. And your detoxification, Panchakarma program will be designed based on your symptoms. So it's a combination of all. And we're happy to receive all of them.
Awesome. And Dr. Dimple, with the growing popularity of fermented foods, how does Ayurveda view their role in supporting gut health? And are there some specific recommendations for their consumption?
See, fermented foods is a good source of bacteria, right? But, again, the problem with modern world is we go extremes with everything. When the blender industry came in, we became extremes with our smoothies. When the pressure cooker came in, we started pressure cooking everything and destroying all the nutrients. Pressure cooker was only for lentils, not for everything. So we go extremes with everything. Now the fermented food industry has started exploding. People are making kombuchas, kefirs, sauerkraut. There are pickles and stuff like that. You really don't have to look towards the West for answers and solution because your grandmothers also had remedies for this. Fermented foods are a good source of bacteria, right? So we had fermented foods once a week. What was fermented? Like an idli or a dosa or a dhokla. These were fermented overnight. You also have pickles that are fermented foods, a good source of bacteria again, right? You can have pickles as well. We can have pickled onions, pickled mangoes, and pickled vegetables. Even that has become like a rage and a trend all over the world. The idea is to have it in moderation. Now, if you're someone who has high pitta or high metabolic fire, or you're a mesomorph body type, you have an inclination towards burning sensation in the esophagus, acidity, reflux, then you must not have fermented foods because fermented foods will increase the heat in your stomach and thus the fire and the burning sensation. You must even stay away from yogurt or curd because that's also fermented overnight, right? That also has good bacteria. Instead, you can dilute it with water because the fermentation process stops the minute you add water and reduce the temperature of that particular food product. Instead of having overnight fermented foods, those of you who are sensitive to it, you can have foods made freshly in the morning. Like, you can have a crepe made from millets, like a dosa. You can have an idli made from millets or ragi or oats or suji, semolina. You don't have to have overnight foods. You can even have fresh foods. Having fermented foods in moderation is a trick. I'm not a big fan of breads that are being sold in the market. These are fermented foods. They're supposed to be source of good bacteria. But then if you leave it out for more than a day or two, you'll notice that they start catching mold. That is unsuitable for human consumption. Now, your stomach acids, the hydrochloric acid, are working day in, day out to kill all the fungus and the yeast infections that are getting into the body through the foods that we eat, right? You don't want to overload the body with more infections. So here, I am not a big fan of fermented foods sold in the market with a shelf life. If it's something that was made fresh in the morning, consume it by afternoon, evening. Do not store it overnight. Do not consume it the next day. Unless it's a thepla made with yogurt, you can keep it for 2 to 3 days. So in moderation and preferably home-cooked fermented foods is what I would advise.
Awesome. And are there any Ayurvedic herbs and supplements that you frequently recommend to your clients for maintaining a digestive balance?
The number one supplement that I usually advise is 20 minutes of sunlight. Get your vitamin D in place, okay? When you get 20 minutes of sunlight, your body absorbs the UVB rays and converts it into vitamin D in your body. And we're nothing but a house plant with complex emotions. All we need is sunlight, water, nutrients to survive, and love is a bonus. So number one supplement I give is sunlight. Please make sure you get enough sunlight. Number two is, of course, making sure that you get good water. Now, of course, most people are drinking filtered water, alkaline water, and such. But if you can add some spices to your water and infuse it, infused water has become a rage in the West. People are putting cucumbers and orange slices and such. But I would recommend putting in Indian herbs and spices. You could put in cumin seeds, fennel seeds, coriander seeds, cardamom, carom seeds. These are excellent. They help in stimulating your digestion. So that's also an excellent thing that you can definitely do.
Dimple, once again, welcome to BW Healthcare World for part two of our conversation. Taking on from where we left, my next question to you is that in the context of Ayurveda, how might seasonal changes impact the gut health? And are there any specific adjustments that one needs to make to make the routine different during different parts of the year?
Well, thank you for having me back. And to talk about, seasonal changes, it's called Ritucharya in Ayurveda. Ritu means seasons, Charya means rituals. So there are different rituals that you follow in order to bring in the new season. The number one ritual is called mono dieting or mono fasting. It basically means eating simple, well-cooked meal repeatedly over 7 days, giving your digestive system a complete break to acclimatize to the new climate that's coming. Now, if you see when we go from winter to spring, and it's not very prominent in most of India, right? But it's prominent in northern India where the snow starts melting. And when the snow starts melting, it starts releasing a lot of trapped bacteria and virus that was frozen during the winter season, right? Now, spring season is known as an allergy season. During this season, children get a lot of cold, cough, sinus, allergies, even adults get it, right? They have these pollen allergies and all that. Spring season, Mother Earth comes to life. But there's also lots of new microorganisms that is floating around, which you need to acclimatize to. So you need to eat a lot of local fruits so that you can introduce a local gut microbiome into the body and tell your body that these microbiomes are friends, not foes, not enemies, so that your body doesn't go into an autoimmune reaction when you eat these fruits. That autoimmune reaction is generally an allergic reaction, right? When you eat a peanut or you have wheat or you have lactose, nowadays we have intolerance, okay? So you don't have an allergic reaction. You can have honey sourced from your topographic region. Now, honey is collected by bees from the flowers, right? The pollen grains. Now, when you eat the honey of the local pollen grain available in your topographic region, you're again introducing it into your body as food and telling your body that this is food, this is not an allergen, okay? So you are definitely building your immune system against that pollen grain by just consuming honey from that pollen grain. That's how interesting the body is. You need to introduce that ingredient, that allergen, in small doses into your body. You can have heaty spices, when you're going from winter to spring, like ginger, pepper, turmeric, cinnamon, star anise, lemongrass. These heaty spices also help in liquefying the mucus, the frozen bacteria and viruses that was trapped in your sinus region, and allows them to flow out of your body. Now, this is a season also for you to start sweating out a little bit. So you can go for steam baths, you can go for saunas. Just make sure to wrap your head with a wet towel so that the heat from your body doesn't go to your brain and heat up your nervous system or your neurological health, which is a very sensitive part of the body, right? Your nervous health are your messengers, but they're also the most sensitive, and they depend heavily on your muscles, on your bone structure, on your fat to keep it safe and to keep it protected. Now, the nervous system and the brain is extremely sensitive to temperature and weather conditions, right? You must wrap a wet towel around your head, especially when you do a steam and a sauna bath, okay? This is not the best time for you to go swimming because, all the bacteria and viruses getting released. So you want to stay away from water bodies. Now, you can go on a mono fasting, which is basically moong dal khichdi, a recipe that I recommend to everybody, no matter which nationality, ethnicity, caste, creed, or country you're from. You literally take one kind of a carb, which could be any kind of rice, like white rice, red rice, brown rice, black rice, or quinoa. Or you can even take a millet, which is a rich source of fiber, by the way, and some amount of protein as well. And it's high on calorie count. It gives you more energy. And you mix it with one kind of protein. It could be any kind of lentil, pulse, beans, okay? There are 300 varieties of lentils available in India alone. So if you took one variety of lentil per day, you'd never have to repeat it for the rest of the year. So take any one lentil, but right now during mono fasting, you'll have the same lentil, the same grain of rice, same carb, You can add some vegetables that are seasonal. Make sure that they are seasonal, okay, between the winter and spring season. What are the vegetables that are locally grown? Do not have vegetables that are imported from another country, because again, your body is not getting an opportunity to acclimatize. Food is information and intelligence which you're consuming. When you consume this intelligence, it deciphers all that information and communicates with the brain on what is happening outside in the topographic region. So when you eat a seasonal vegetable, that vegetable is also communicating its intelligence. Obviously, there is some intelligence, life intelligence in it, which has allowed it to grow into a spinach or a capsicum, which is green in color and not purple in color out of the blue, right? It has the same color coding. It has the same intelligence in it. It has the same water molecules, same earth, air, space, and fire elements in it, right? When you eat these local vegetables, you're consuming local intelligence. When you're eating local fruits, you're consuming the local gut microbiome. When you're consuming honey, you're consuming the local pollen allergens that you might be allergic to. And when you do mono dieting, you're sticking to one grain, one lentil, and vegetables, cooking it with some warm carbonated spices. You're giving your liver and your digestive system a complete break so it can acclimatize to the new climate. Now, during every season in Ayurveda, we have different rituals. When we go from summer to say monsoons, we have a different set of rituals, different set of grains that is advised, different set of bed sheets that are advised. So every season has a Ritucharya coded in Ayurveda, and I wish everybody would take an opportunity to learn Ayurveda.
Awesome. And Dimple, you were speaking about honey, and the first thing that came into my mind is that India is a diabetic capital of the world.
Oh God.
And we talk about fruits, and we talk about alternate sources of sugar. So what are the kind of fruits that you recommend diabetics could have, and also what is the impact of honey?
So honey is a natural sweetener, right? Given by Mother Nature. It's extremely sweet and it's not advised for patients who have diabetes. Now, honey is called, in Hindi, the word starts with M. I think it's called Madhu something. And diabetes also begins with the same word, same letter, right? In Hindi, it starts with the mer letter.
Yeah.
Honey is definitely not advisable for diabetic patients. For diabetic patients, I always recommend having something that's more friendly for the body. You could have a stevia, you could have an agave, monk fruit sweetener also in moderation. Stay away from white sugar for sure. Stay away from jaggery, because your body's pancreatic system, the organ pancreas, is not able to create the digestive juices or the acids required to break down sugar at this moment, right? Your body is becoming immune to the presence of sugar. Not immune, sorry. It's having an autoimmune reaction to the presence of sugar. It's not able to digest it, right? You will also stay away from fruits that are extra sweet, like mangoes or a banana or a papaya or a muskmelon that is high in fructose. Fructose is also a form of fruit sugar. So you need to eat fruits that are not high in fructose. So the best fruit that a diabetic patient could have is a kala jamun, the Indian blackberry. Now, this blackberry has anti-inflammatory properties, antibacterial, antiviral properties, and it has an anti-sugar property, which means it kills the sugar in the body. The excess sugar that has not been digested leads to diabetes, right? That sugar has to be cleansed from your system. I would recommend for diabetes patients during the season to have a plate of kala jamun, the Indian blackberry, with a pinch of salt. It has an astringent quality. It makes your mouth very dry. It causes your teeth to itch a little. That's a very good quality. That's a sign that it's working. Okay, so when you put a pinch of salt, it doesn't create that itching quality in your mouth. You can still consume the Indian blackberry and allow it to enter your bloodstream and start killing the sugar. During the off season, when you do not get Indian blackberries, please make sure you've saved the seeds of the blackberries you ate during the season, dehydrate it well, and then crush it into a powder form and sprinkle this on all your fruit salad and vegetable salad, and even your chas or your buttermilk, even in your milk, anywhere that you feel like sprinkling it, start sprinkling it. It helps in killing diabetes in your body. Number 2 is flat beans, string beans, French beans. This is the antidote for diabetes. This is literally Mother Nature's gift to diabetes. If you just stayed on a diet of French beans every day in your lunch, flat beans every day in your lunch, and you boil string beans in water and make a cup of tea out of it and have a string bean tea, it's equal to 1 insulin shot. You must have 1 cup of string bean tea every day. Like I have, family members. I lost my grandmother to diabetes at a very, very young age. And this completely destroyed us emotionally. And I'm very passionate about this subject. And I say this to my other family members who are also pre-diabetic, unfortunately, who have a sweet tooth. They reach out to sweets and they have to eat it. I tell them if you're going to eat sweets, at least compensate by having a cup of string bean tea, beans and kala jamun. And you can have onions, garlic, fenugreek. Literally all your bitter foods are your best friends. I'm sorry, but bitter foods is the antidote to diabetes, right? Because you're not able to digest sugar. You have to have the exact opposite taste. Bitter gourd, lots of people are afraid of it. Having one shot of bitter gourd juice with tomato juice mixed in it balances the bitterness, but at the same time cleanses your system. You need to start your day with that, at least one shot of it.
That's a bitter truth for the diabetics.
Yes, yes, you have to make peace with it.
Yeah. And Dimple, can you elaborate on the concept of Agni in Ayurveda? I've heard about this a lot and its significance in digestive health and how individuals can assess and strengthen their digestive fire.
Agni is your source of life. Agni means the Jatran Agni, which is a digestive fire or the metabolic fire. As long as that Agni is alive inside your body, it's burning inside your body, you're alive. Okay? When Agni becomes excess, it becomes a fever symptom. The body has deliberately increased the Agni to induce sweating, to sweat out the toxin that's trapped inside your body. So fever is a good thing. You should not suppress it with medicines. You must sweat it out. You must starve the fever. Stop eating food because right now your digestive fire has been compromised. All the digestive fire has risen towards the surface of your skin to increase your body temperature, to sweat out the toxin. The body is deliberately trying to cleanse or flush something that has entered the body, a foreign object, heavy metal, or some kind of undigested metabolic waste. It's trying to get rid of it. So you need to drink a lot of fluids to flush out the waste in the form of urine, and you need to sweat it out. So stop using AC, fan. Do not eat a big meal. Have just warm soups, vegetable soups, and sips of warm water throughout the day. Just be on a liquid diet. If you can go on a fast, adults can easily do that. Go on a complete fast of just having warm water throughout the day. You will be rid of the fever symptoms within a day. Okay. So that's your Agni, Jatran Agni, trying to save you from undigested metabolic waste, heavy metals and toxins, and preventing future complicated diseases by going into a fever. So fever is a good sign. When this Jatran Agni becomes weak or Mand Agni, or when it becomes irregular, it can lead to a lot of diseases like hypothyroidism or obesity or even diabetes. Indigestion of food is responsible for 90% of the diseases we suffer in our body. PCOS, PCOD, infertility, gynecological disorders, gastrointestinal diseases, right from bloating, gas, flatulence, indigestion, acidity, reflux, GERD, constipation, diarrhea, IBS. This impacts your mental health because we've spoken about how the gut impacts the mental health. It starts triggering anxiety, stress, clinical depression, lack of coordination, lack of concentration, mood swings, irritability. If you can't digest your food, it makes you so irritable and snappy. It affects your mental health, emotional health. It also impacts your relationships because you become very snappy, right? And you're not in a position to understand the other person because there's so much turmoil going on in your digestive system. And your digestive health is the largest set of organs in your body, right? From your mouth, esophagus, stomach, small, large intestine, gallbladder, colon, even your liver, pancreas, and appendix contribute to the digestive health. It's the largest set of organs in your body. It's the engine to your body. This is run by Jatran Agni, the metabolic fire, the digestive fire. Now, when this digestive fire is healthy, your digestion is 100%. When your digestion is 100%, your body is able to make the fuel to supply to all your critical organs, right? From your brain, heart, liver, kidney, intestines, your musculoskeletal health. You have fuel to run this magical body. Okay. When your digestive health is great, you have the nutrients and the fuel to run your body, and your immune system is also strong, which runs on the digestive fire and the metabolic fire to fight diseases on a daily basis. Now, on a daily basis, our body is fighting cancer cells. On a daily basis, we are fighting cancer and unhealthy cells that are multiplying uncontrollably on their own. Our body is starving those cells and killing it. The white blood cells are your soldiers, are your immunity soldiers. They run on the digestive fire, the metabolic fire, the immunity fire. They run on the nutrients provided by the digestive health, which is run by the digestive fire again. The WBC starts fighting all the unhealthy cells and removes them from your body, right? But if the WBC doesn't have fuel, if your army, if your soldiers are not being provided nutrition and food, they will not be able to perform their task. So you see how everything comes back to the digestive health and the digestive fire. And this has been written in Ayurveda, proven by modern science, that your gut, your colon, is responsible for your health and 90% of your diseases. All your internal diseases are triggered due to the digestive health. been in an improper or an imbalanced, dysfunctional method. And 10% of the diseases are triggered due to external factors like, say, war or COVID or pandemics or, fracture, accident. These external shocks or stimuli, like, even malaria or typhoid or dengue due to mosquitoes breeding from an unhygienic environment. These external factors are responsible only for 10% of the diseases we suffer. 90% of the diseases are internal. If you do not take stock of your internal health, you're heading towards trouble. And that comes from your gut health, your digestive health, your Jatran Agni.
Dimple, one of the things that is not spoken of too often, and it is important to be spoken of specifically to women's health, is about menopause.
Oh, yeah.
We have always focused on menstrual cycles, etc. But since you were talking about mental health, I think one of the biggest mood swings that I've known are when women are heading towards menopause. Does you spoke about gut health impacting the mental health, but does it also happen the other way around, that your mental health impacts your gut health? And if so, is there some correlation during the age when a woman is heading towards menopause?
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, in Ayurveda, menopause is marked by the end of Pitta phase of your life, where the metabolic fire is high. And it marks the beginning of the Vata phase of your life, which is the degenerative stage of our life. Now, in men, it gets triggered after the age of 55, 60, 65, 70. Some men have been able to delay it up to the age of 80, 90, because there's no massive hormonal change happening in a man's body, right? So a man can actually delay the aging process way much better than a woman, because a woman's health is marked by the degenerative stage right from the date of menopause. The body starts shifting. The period cycle has stopped. The body has decided not to make estrogen anymore. It has made a conscious effort to shut down the production of estrogen, and the testosterone production starts going up. Now, in this stage, your body is going through massive changes and it needs a lot of nutrition. You must go on a plant-based diet, because plant-based nutrients are faster to absorb and assimilate in the body, right? You get enough protein from plant-based diet. Where do cows, goats, and sheep get their protein from? They get it from plant-based foods, right? They get it from grass. So you don't have to eat an animal to get protein. You get plant-based foods to get protein in your body, which you need now to rebuild damaged tissues, muscles, and nerves. Because now your body has entered a degenerative stage, your musculoskeletal health starts suffering. You start having joint-related disorders like osteoporosis, arthritis, rheumatism, spondylitis, or you can start having body aches and pain and fatigue and such disorders, right? It also causes a lot of mood swings and irritability, because your body is not producing hormones. Now your body is confused. Your endocrine glands are now going haywire, right? Your thyroid gland can get impacted, at a stage like this. If there's sudden, disturbance to the thyroid gland, your adrenal glands get affected, which gives you the decision to decide which food to keep in your body and which food to eliminate and how much energy to give to which organ. Right? These glands start getting affected. Your dopamine, your, serotonin, the happiness hormone, the happiness chemicals also get impacted. That's why women during menopause are usually very irritable, very short-tempered, very snappy, because there's this massive upheaval of hormones in the body, right? In this state, please don't consume any kind of animal protein or even any kind of hormonal foods. Meat, seafood, eggs, dairy products have animal protein, and they also have the animal hormone, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone. Where do the hormones and the diseases go when you consume meat? It goes inside your body. Animals get cancer, plants don't get cancer, right? So at this stage, you want to clean up the hormones in your body. You want to help the body get rid of the estrogen being built up in the system. You need to scrub your body clean. And the best scrub that Mother Nature has given is vegetables and fruits loaded with good, microbes that enhances your gut bacteria. When your gut flora gets enhanced, your mental health, emotional health also gets enhanced. So this is a stage where you need to focus on your gut health even more. You need to focus on your digestion even more, because your body is shifting from one phase of life to another phase. This is a stage where you must take a backseat and take rest as much as possible, because your body needs a lot of sleep at this time. A woman needs more sleep than a man because of the hormonal imbalances or the hormonal changes that's happening in the body. So instead of sleeping 8 hours, maybe you could sleep 9 hours. I know it makes you sound sluggish or slow. No, it doesn't. Go to sleep by 9 o'clock. Go to sleep by 10 o'clock. Don't wait till 12 or 1 in the morning. And definitely don't wake up late, because your circadian rhythm corresponds to the position of the sun, your internal body clock. You must wake up with the sun. The minute you wake up with the sun, the body puts into action all its functions to heal itself. If the circadian rhythm is broken, your immune system is broken, your digestive fire goes haywire because it doesn't know when to turn on and when to turn off, and your mental and emotional health goes for a toss. The only cure that I have for depression, anxiety, and stress is wake up 45 minutes before sunrise and start journaling all your negative thoughts. Women going through menopause can do the same thing. Wake up 45 minutes before sunrise, do some mild stretching, drink a lot of fluids, maybe after sunrise. Use this time to meditate, to chant, to center your body, to center your focus, and to journal all your negative thoughts and start manifesting the life that you want to live, because this is your third inning. Your infant or your childhood is over, and then your prime mid-years is over, your adult life is over, and now begins your post-adult life, which is either a degenerative stage, or you can use this to launch or offset diseases and launch a brand new life. You get to revisit, your life goals and your professional personal goals and set new goals for yourself.
Awesome. And Dimple, this brings me to the last question for this series. And this is, how do you address the diversity of dietary preferences, such as vegetarianism or veganism, within the framework of Ayurvedic recommendation for gut health?
So, we spend at least a day doing research when a patient comes to us for a diet plan. Okay. I have a research team that puts together an entire research plan. And we create a list of fruits, vegetables, grains, pulses, legumes, lentils, nuts, seed, cooking oil, ghee, which salt, which sweetener to use and to not use. We divide it into a favor and limit list. We take at least 100 items, divide it into favor and limit list. Whether you're a vegetarian, whether you're vegan, whether you're a pescatarian, doesn't matter what you are, you must know what is favorable for your body and what is not. So number one rule for human beings, we are designed to be herbivores. Okay, our digestive health, our intestines are very similar to a cow, goat, and a sheep. It's 28 feet long. A carnivore has only a 6 feet long intestine, so it doesn't get stuck, the meat for them. Okay, but for us, meat, seafood, and eggs, animal protein gets stuck in our system for 3 days. Number one, we're not designed to be an omnivore or a carnivore. We're designed to be herbivores. Okay, sattvic diet stimulates kindness, compassion, passion, forgiveness, love, and the ability to expand our knowledge and education. So you must go on a sattvic diet, number one. Number two, whether you decide to be a vegetarian or a vegan, whether you decide to have dairy products in your diet or not, is your personal choice, as long as you have access to a cruelty-free cow farm, where the cow has not been injected with hormones, steroids, antibiotics, and where the cow is not forced to give birth every year, where the cow is not distressed and separated by its calf, because if it is, it's going to release pus and blood, estrogen and hormones and steroids and antibiotics into the milk, and you're drinking diseased milk. Unhealthy cow will give you unhealthy milk. A healthy cow gives you healthy milk. Be very clear about it. If you don't have access to cruelty-free cow farms, I don't have access to it because I live in a city. So I've decided to go to a vegan diet. And a vegan diet is extremely useful for reversing any kind of diseases, right from cancer to clinical depression, constipation to common cold. In a plant-based diet, sit with an Ayurvedic health coach. You can come to our clinic anytime you want. We're more than happy to help you. We will give you a personalized ingredient chart, because one man's nutrition is another man's poison. What is healthy for me will be unhealthy for you. For example, I know by default that my body doesn't accept capsicum, radish, onion, garlic, or chilies, because it inflames my metabolic fire, which is already high, and it can cause burning sensation or putrefaction or rotting of that vegetable, because it's not easy for my body to break down that vegetable. It can make me immediately bloated. I can tell if there is capsicum in my food, immediately by just the taste of it, or by just having one bite of it. I'm like, okay, my body is rejecting this. You have to tune into that intuitive intelligence by eating the right foods every single day. After a few weeks, your body will start communicating with you and talking to you again on whether this food is for you or not. Just by looking at the food, your body will communicate to you saying that this recipe has not been prepared for you. It's for somebody else. It's not for you. That intuitive intelligence is what the monks and sages have. They would just look at the food and they could trace the origin of the grain and the lentil and the pulse, whether it has been grown in an eco-friendly environment or whether it has been cooked in an unhappy environment. They can tell everything, and they will decide not to take that food. You have to go to that level. And that will happen only when you do the right thing repeatedly every single meal, every single day, every single week and month for a few days, weeks, and months till you tune into that intuitive intelligence. And that happens by eating a personalized ingredient chart. That's what Ayurveda is. Ayurveda is actually a personalized science that teaches you how to design and personalize your diet, your lifestyle, your workout regime, your sleep rituals based on your unique body type, your unique constitution, which is your biological blueprint, based on your hereditary factors, your family health, based on your topographic and geographic conditions, based on the age of your life, the phase of life you're in, and also the symptoms that you've had in the past. It personalizes everything. It is not one size fits all.
This is really beautiful. And when you spoke about the cruelty-free cow farms, I could relate to something that you said earlier when you were talking about food is information and intelligence. So, those things just rationally go hand in hand. Dimple, thank you so much for this conversation. You spoke about gut impacts the physical, emotional, and mental well-being of a humankind when we spoke in the first part of the conversation. And you also said something which is very, very significant and important, that don't be stuck in the sick cycle of pills and the side effects. Rather, be focusing on productive and living healthier and happier. And that kind of really resonated with me a lot. And my biggest takeaway from this conversation is that we must remember that Ayurveda is beyond medicine. It is about your lifestyle. It is about how you live that can lead you to a healthier and happier lifestyle. I must thank you for taking out time for having a conversation with me for BW Healthcare and its viewers.
Well, thank you so much for summing it up so beautifully, that Ayurveda is beyond medicine. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you for creating a platform for healthy discussions. You guys are doing a service to the society. And my grandfather says, service to the society is a rent you pay to live on this planet. So thank you for what you guys do. I'm very happy that I was part of this in some small way.
Thank you.